Hello, YouTube, and welcome to the FPL Pubcast, where every game week, usually on a Wednesday at 6 o'clock, we are here to preview the upcoming game week. This week, game week 25. In this one, we are going to be looking over what we got on in game week 25, having a bit of a chat about the double game week, best double game week assets of game week 26, previewing game week 25, and talking about our teams and transfers. Joining me, first of all, is... It's been, I think, the second or third time this year. FPL Nightmare. How are you doing, my friend?
Hello, I'm not so bad. I can't complain, except for my boiler blew the other day on Sunday night. So I've been sat here at home, absolutely shivering. It's so cold. I've got my Christmas jumper on. And but we had the boiler man round this morning. First thing, I've got 2 hours worth of sleep last night. So, but the boiler's on there. The house is heating up. And tonight we're going to bring some fire to the pubcast.
Excellent. And also joining me is young Darius. How you doing, Darius?
Yeah, I'm good. I've been very excited for this one. It's been a while since me and Nightmare caught up on his channel, so I was excited. I actually got to the point where I said to Gary, "If Nightmare can commit, I'm committing." So
you've only been on the show.
My first week back at work, so I can be here and talk some rubbish and ask the Nightmare exactly how poor Newcastle were on the weekend and whether he still has faith in his team moving into the coming weeks.
Yeah, you've only actually ever been on the show once together in the whole time we've been doing it. But lads, I've got to say, it's a bit of a shame. We were hoping.
We've been on twice. We did a watch along last year. When Kukurea!
That was
I called it.
Lads, I am a bit disappointed. Like we were hoping Trig was going to turn up, weren't we? But no sign. Unfortunately, we tried to, but you know, what can you do? But can you hear that in the background there?
He's a useless little prick. Honestly, what a stupid
Who's
prick.
that? Who's that? Here he is. Of course, he's here.
Evening all.
Trig, how you doing, mate?
Trig is back. He's got to be moved up above Nightmare too, or I'm off again.
Oh, yes. That was the agreement for letting us do that. And then I've got to move Nightmare back up here. How you doing, Trig? All right, mate?
Yeah, great. As I realised how much I was going to miss all you guys, and I thought I can't leave. Stronger together, just like Europe. And I thought, you know, I can't desert them. We've all got our own channels, but we're all together, one happy family. So I'm looking forward to this one.
The podcast wouldn't have been the same without you, Trig. I love the 10-minute impassioned rant that you went on in your video today. It was brilliant.
Yeah. Watch that, people, if you haven't seen it. Watch it now. Just leave this one and go in there. Watch that.
Just really quickly, Trig, what are your thoughts on Dirty Dom? Just out of curiosity, what are your thoughts on Dirty Dom? Because I reckon your passion about your hatred for him is almost up there with me. So I just want to ask you about how you feel about him now.
Just seeing him take that corner the other day was enough to make me log off that live stream. I thought he'd got an assist. Did he get the assist for that in the end or not? I thought he was going to log off.
He didn't deserve one, Trig. It was a horrendous howler from Pope, and like Nightmare's Pope. I mean, what are they poping for, Nightmare? I've really got to wonder the question now.
That was a terrible pun. Newcastle are saving themselves for tonight. Their big match. The champions of the Carabao coming back to defend their trophy. Everyone thinks they're written out. Everyone thinks the script is set for Man City versus Arsenal. Arteta against his old mentor for that first trophy. But the Carabao champions are coming. We're still in this competition, and we've got to go to the Etihad. And we've won once at the Etihad since the big takeover, and that was in this competition. And we put out a reserve team that night, and we beat them. I think it was 4-3. Well, tonight we're going to have to beat them by 2 clear goals. And at 8 o'clock, we're going to find out if we can do it. But the competition, really, everyone thinks Man City versus Arsenal is the best final, but it isn't. What you want is Arteta, the great big collapser himself. The man who can't get over the line, the trophy evader, Mikel Arteta, going up against his nemesis, his scourge, Eddie Howe. Newcastle fighting, scratching, biting and clawing to do everything to cling on to this trophy. The one that fought 70 years to win against Arsenal. That is the final. We need Joe Linton battering people all over Wembley for the second year running. That is the dream Carabao final. And tonight, Howe's heroes are going to do what they can to make it happen in the corrupt state of the Etihad Stadium.
We had a little discussion chat before we started about who would talk the most. Andrew said, I hardly talk at all. That just proves it. Hopefully Newcastle do win, of course. Let's say a quick load of people in the chat. FPL, how do you say the name of the Wolves player? Harang? Wang W. Wang. He's saying it's almost time to triple captain the big boy Wang. So we've got a few Wang followers in the thing. We've got Cole Miller, mate, Clapton, Trig is here. Killian, Rob Taft, please do hit the like and subscribe buttons. Claire, Dan, Shane, yes, I have seen you above me again in Nightmares League, Shane. Only by one place, though. David, Erkan, Paul, hello, mate. I'm 1974, Dunder, Joseph, Tyler, FPL have a point. Dan, Cal, Zahar, Tyler, Kaklas, and Dominic. Hello, mate. We've got a moderator in. Good to see you. I think that's everyone. Lots of people in early tonight, lads. So, should we get on to the teams? Okay. All right. Oh, yeah. Please do like and subscribe. So, in this show, we go through who did the worst to best. And this week, me and Trig got on identically, but I put me first. We both on 63 points. So, I was 63 points, which I think was a small green in the end. I'm honestly not sure. It was either a green or like a grey. It was basically no change. So 114k. Dubravka with 1 point, Kelleher 5, Lacroix 2, Gabriel 8, Anderson, who came on for the injured Saka with 0, Enzo 8, Elliot Anderson 7, Bruno Fernandes probably was the one who actually got me the green arrow with Captaincy 20, the wonderful Dominic Szoboszlai with 5, Haaland 5, and Thiago 2. Yeah, so I said on my members video on Sunday, I think I was just relieved after this one because, I know Saka's not done great so far this season, but when you see one of your, the second most expensive player in your side isn't even going to start and you're going to get Anderson off the bench away to Man United. But, I mean, the biggest frustration was benching Kelleher for 10 points. I mean, Craig, do you think I should feel bad about that? I mean, it was a tight call, but I'm assuming some other people may have done it as well.
I don't think I would have done it because, I mean, Kelleher kind of thrives off save points, doesn't he? I mean, that's what he's about. So, I mean, I can understand people who had Raya and Kelleher. A lot of them benched Kelleher, but Dubravka, I'm not so sure. Not aware at Sunderland.
Yeah, I've got exactly the same dilemma this week because I think Kelleher is playing Newcastle and Dubravka's got, I can't remember who they've got actually, but basically he's got the better fixture, and I'm like, if I bench him, it's going to be another Kelleher. It's going to be another Kelleher at 10 points. But yeah, what's your thoughts on Szoboszlai, Andrew? I don't know. We've had many discussions about him on this channel, but I don't think we've ever asked you about him. Are you a fan or a hater?
Well, he's on my shortlist for replacing Bruno Guimaraes if he doesn't make it for the weekend, because now Dirty Dom Szoboszlai is in the right position to maximise his FPL potential at right back, getting the DEFCON points for the ball recoveries. He's on the set pieces. And, I mean, I'm probably not going to bring him in. Let's be fair, when Trig said he has never been an FPL option, he wasn't wrong. But I could also see why you would take the punt on a player who, he scored that 30-yard free kick against Arsenal. He was assuming greater importance in the team. He'd taken over the penalties. You could see why the punt was in play, especially if you're a Liverpool fan, desperate to have one of your representatives in your FPL team. But no, he's not the one for me. I would put him as the fourth best Liverpool option. I would have your man, I would have Ekitike top, Vert second, I would have Virgil third, then I would have Szoboszlai, and then I would have Mo Salah. Although maybe Alisson above Salah, I'm not sure.
Darius, Shane saying you might want to come in on me with a certain Joaquin Anderson. I mean, he did me well last week, didn't he, with his incredible pass?
He did. But if you go back and look at Fulham's statistics the last 5 or 6 weeks, the writing was on the wall that he is not a very good player at the moment, because Fulham have gone back to conceding quite a few goals over the last 5 or 6 weeks. No clean sheets over that time span. And look, if you take out the attacking contribution from Anderson, he hasn't even been getting what's on the tin at the moment. He's not even been getting the DC more games than not. Yes, he did get it, I think, in the Man. No, he didn't even get in the Man United game because he's crap. But the one thing I wanted to talk about here, so Dirty 4-point Dom, he's been upgraded by double his amount of points, because he's now gone from the normal floor, which is 2, to 4. And look, he talked after the game, he doesn't like playing at defense. But he's rubbish. That's his only position. If he's not getting the ball recoveries and getting the DC, he's literally averaging an attacking return once every 10 weeks. So people should be happy. If you've got him now, you hold him. Until he stops playing a right back, you hold him. He's 4 points every week probably. So he's gone from 2 to dirty 4-point Dom.
I can't believe it's February and the top 2 talking points on the FPL Pubcast or Joaquin Anderson and Dominic Szoboszlai. I mean, come on now. Have these not been done to death? Trig, Trig, what would you say should be the top topic for the FPL Pubcast for the next month?
Possibly
Gary
the assets, double game week next week. Certainly not Szoboszlai. We should be talking about Wirtz if we're talking about any Liverpool asset.
We're going to talk about double game weeks in a bit. But anyway, I'm happy enough and we move on. I mean, to be honest with you, Szoboszlai's going to probably be in my team to 31 now because he's got so many other things to deal with the blank. So Trig is next up. Trig's on the same points as me, 63 points, which was 162k, which I think I heard you say was a green arrow in the end, wasn't it, Trig?
I went up 82 places, the smallest green arrow I've ever had, I think.
Yeah. So Trig's got Sanchez 2, Virgil 4, Tarkowski 2, Gabriel 8, Lacroix 2, Elliot Anderson 7, Rice 3, Kirky 8, Fernandez 20, captain, Thiago 2, Haaland 5, and obviously you had Saka benched as well. Who came on for you for Saka, mate? Was it Lacroix? Lacroix. Yeah. How do you feel about this one, mate?
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate, the Saka injury. It's going to force me to make 3 transfers, really. It's very annoying. Yeah, it's nothing sort of a game week, really, wasn't it? Let's see. At least Virgil got his DEFCONs. Tarkowski didn't get them this week, and I don't know if it's because both Keane and Brandthwaite were both playing. So he kind of changed your way of playing a bit there. Anderson, fantastic as usual. I mean, since I got Anderson in, he's like, I think the minimum he's got is about 5 points.
He's brilliant, isn't he?
Crazy. And Rice has done nothing since I bought him about 4 or 5 weeks ago. But I'll hold on to him. Shirky's interesting because he's a really good player. I mean, he's like the new De Bruyne. When he came off the other day, that game completely changed against Tottenham. And, he's so good. He is so good. But I'm not sure I can find a way to keep him, unfortunately. But he might have.
Is there any injury? Any updates on him?
Yeah, we don't know yet. We'll find out tonight, won't we?
Oh, of course,
I'm hoping he's on the bench. Yeah. I'm hoping he's on the bench tonight and can play a bit, so at least he's fit. So then he is an option for me to keep. But we shall see.
Darius, you were saying you were convinced that Tarkowski should have got, they weren't counting the DC points or something. Is that right? I heard you mention that.
Yeah, I watched that game, right? And Trig raises a good point. I don't think it's because of the fact that they're all playing. I just think of the fact that Brighton were crap. And look, that game should have finished 0-0. But I don't know. I still don't know how either team scored a goal because it was a nothing game of football. There was barely any quality in it. I think that's the reason why he didn't get any DC. But I watched that first half, and it said at halftime he was on 2 DC. There's no way he was on 2 DC at halftime. Unless I was watching a different game, he was on at least 4, I reckon, at minimum. I think they adjusted him at the end of the game up 1. So I don't know. I've given up trying to work out what a DC is because I've said a number of times this season, the balls that look like clear interceptions or they've been kicked the ball, it's not counted as an interception. It's not counted as a recovery. Or what the hell is it? If you're literally receiving the ball and it's not counting as one of them, what actually is it getting counted as? Like, and Nightmare said it's just a change in possession. But like, if it's not obvious to the naked eye what an actual DC counts as, what is it? Like, that's my frustration with it, because I said earlier in the season when Bruno clearly got kicked the ball twice in that last minute and neither of them got given. And the other thing, obviously, the last game of the game week, so Mukiele, right, for example, and I said this as well, and Nightmare was like going, I might be twining a little bit, but I'm going to go into
a little
it because,
bit.
Yeah, well, it's stupid. If you're sitting there, if you've got a defender that's got an assist, kept a clean sheet, and there's no other person in the game that's got multiple attacking returns, how the hell does he not get bonus? And like, I think if they'd readjusted the game the day after, he would have got a bonus. And then yet, for whatever reason, if you're unlucky and you've got, like, say, for example, 3 players in that last game of the game week and they fuck them all up, you're going to miss out on 3 lots of points, because I think they cut the game. So that game, for whatever the cutoff is for the last game of the game week, that should be applied to every single game in the game week. There should be no alterations post what they can alter the last game of the game week, because that way, if they fuck it up, they fuck it up. If they don't, it's even. You're not disadvantaged by having 3 players at the back.
Needs a tired FPLD unit, Dundee's saying that.
They need to keep the game open longer and not do the final update until they've got the Opta updates. I mean, it would be a bit unpopular even not having everyone scoring until the next day. But if they want to do it fairly, that's the only way they can do it.
What I will say, I will come back on this. Now, Darius is saying this is egregious, that Mukiele did not get a bonus point, and yes, he should have had one added. But then you look at who got the bonus points. Diarra got got 3 bonus points. Goal scored and an assist for a midfielder. That makes sense to me. Then 2 bonus points went to Reynildo, who got an assist, but also smoked Mukiele and the defensive contributions while keeping a clean sheet. And then the other bonus went to Big Dan Ballard, who again smoked him on the defensive contributions. So the 2 defenders that got the biggest defensive contributions got bonus points for defending. And I don't think that's too egregious, really. It's frustrating as a Mukiele owner, but it certainly makes sense to me. Mukiele only got 3 defensive contributions, so his bonus baseline is reduced.
But you'd think as a defender, if you get an assist, it's better than bloody defensive contributions because you've actually created a goal. So I get what Nightmare's saying about that. Oh, I've lost my internet probably.
But you get rewarded with an extra point. You get an extra point for an assist than you do for defensive contributions. But for a defender, defensive actions should surely count more in regards to bonus points. Otherwise, you why have a bonus point system at all when you can just give it to whoever gets a goal?
I'd be down with that. I could get on board with that.
Well, you're a simple man, Darius, and you need simple rules.
Thank you very much for the super chat. We've got a super chat. Fiverr Forever is brave enough to tell Trig that Liverpool just scored, just to see if he does another walk-off. Liverpool have just scored, Trig. There we go. Shall we move on to Darius's team? So Darius is on 71 points with a -4, up to a season high of 1.1 million. Darius has got Sanchez 2, Gabriel 8, Tarkowski 2, Chalobah 3, is that? Timber 5, Mukiele. I always want to say ukulele. 9, Bruno captain 20, Rice 3, Verts 12, and Burmo 2, Haaland 5. Yeah, talk us through it, mate. What was the hit? Who was the hit for?
The hit was for Timber in for O'Reilly. So the hit actually works. So Timber obviously covered O'Reilly, and now I've got my 3 Arsenal for the double game week. So I managed to do that without actually copying any points loss. And then obviously I bought in Mbumo for Bruno G, who obviously Bruno G got nothing. So I'm kind of up on the hit, but it was more for like the future weeks rather than this week in particular. And I was just betting on Timber beating O'Reilly by 4 points, and he did. So that was pretty happy with that. In terms of the team itself, I was gutted that I didn't manage. Like, part of me sitting there going, I should have just cancelled my own watch along at halftime. So during that second half, I could have been like, Trig, Florian Wirtz, baby, get in. I was like, that would have been enough. That would have been what Trig over the week. Trig would have been like, fuck off, D. I'm off. But at least I would have got some points. That's what I was gutted about. When I watched it back, I was like, that could have been me. But I would have actually been enjoying it even more because not only did Trig walk off at the frustration that D and it got points, I got 8 points out of it. It would have been much better. But yeah, I was pretty happy with it. He's been a great pick. And like for someone that didn't own him at the start of the year, I feel incredibly blessed I dodged all the blanks and I've picked him up at the moment where he has decided that he's going to be a Premier League player. The frustrating thing, Trig, is your team. Your team pissed me off because I benched Bowen thinking that there's no way that Chelsea double of defence is going to lose out to Jared Bowen, and Jared Bowen beat him by 4 points. No, 3 points combined. Disgusting.
What's your bench? You got 15 on there. I'm guessing you're not regretting not bench boosting in the end.
Nah, I did well, Gary. I tell you what, at the end of Saturday night, at the end of that lock-in, I was like, this is bad. Bowen's got, well, at that time he had 7 points before he got an extra bonus magically from somewhere. But Bruggen had 3, so I was on 10 points. I was like, Wilson and Thiago better have the day off. And thankfully, they did have the day off. So in reality, I actually did call that fairly well. I mean, no one was ever going to play Jared Bowen against Chelsea defence unless you're an idiot. So that's just one of them ones that just happens, unfortunately.
How far are you off the top million now, mate? Points
Not much. I think I've got less than 10 points to catch it up. So, yeah, hopefully next couple of weeks. I mean, the green arrows are going. I wish they were going slightly quicker than what they were, but we're still trending in the upwards direction.
Nightmare, going back to early season here with a 5-4-1 formation, I believe, if I remember rightly, you were clamoring for at the time. Does it bring warmth to your heart to see this?
Well, I mean, I find it quite funny that he's benched Bowen when he's spent weeks going on about him. I mean, it's on his video today. He's trying to claim the reflective glory. My boy, Bowen, my boy, Bowen. Well, your boy's stuck in the corner. He's more like your step boy. Although I love my stepchildren and treat them far better than Darius treats Jared Bowen. But, so I did find that funny. But apart from that, I mean, he's not really done much wrong, has he? Well, if he could have started Bowen over Tarkovsky and played 4-4-2 and got a few more points. But other than that, really, what he should have done is not brought in Mbeumo and played Bowen instead of Bruno Guimaraes and gone for the 5-3-2. And that would have got him the most points of all. So maybe that's the secret. I think Newcastle might play a 5-2-3 tonight. Maybe Darius should think of that. But no, I mean, Darius, I feel like I should rant a little bit just because it winds Trig up and we're having a little competition over who can get him to turn into Piers Morgan first. So what I would say is Darius deserves a lot of credit because people, Trig is one of them, are steadfast against hits. They are steadfast against hits. You can't take hits. You shouldn't take hits. Hits are not the answer. And yet for Darius to have been, he has risen through the ranks from 9 million to the verge of the top million. And he's doing it, taking hits every week. And I just wanted to give a little shout out to my man, the D unit.
I'm not against hits. I think hits are fine, but if your team's really crap, then you have to take hits. And that's why D Unit and Andrew have taken so many this season. If you've got a good team, you don't need to take hits. That's why the Trig hasn't taken a hit all season. But last season, my best 3 game weeks of the season were ones where I took hits.
To be fair, Trig, even you are behind Gary. So, let's just hold your horses there, big fella.
I've taken 2 tricks. So hits. I thought I was the most anti-hits. I didn't realise you hadn't taken on any all season. You have been very good at saving up the transfers, though, haven't you? Nice comment here. Go and line up tonight, lads. This is from George Drifts. Good to see Trig back. Wish you would tell my FPL team to F off. It deserves it. Okay, should we move on to Andrew's team? So Andrew's top of pile this week with 73, which I'm assuming is up to 1.5 million. Henderson 2, Timber 5. You're all on double Arsenal. Everyone's on double Arsenal defence now. Timber 5, Gabriel 8, Mikelele 9, Tarkowski 2, Garner 4, Fernandez 20, Rice 3, Haaland 5, Thiago 2, and probably your star player would be Ekatike, wouldn't it, Andrew? In terms of ownership with 13.
No, I mean obviously he's got me the points, but I'm not gonna. The points that I celebrate through gritted teeth because of getting them against my boy. What I would say is that lad you just brought up, George Riffs, on the chat. The riffs implies he's a guitarist. Maybe as a fan of the pubcast, he should be donating a riff to Gary to use as the intro theme for the FPL Pubcast. We could see maybe George Riff should get into the chat and say, Gary, we have got a riff for you. But anyway, yeah, back to the point, which was Ekatike. Look, I mean, he's a good player, isn't he? People said sell him. And I didn't. I kept him because the nightmare is nothing if not a patient manager. You know, FPL Nightmare is nothing if not a long-term planner. And I have my plan, and it kicked into action this week. It's not the way I would have liked it to go, but, you know, I mean, there's no real disappointments in that team. I am considering selling Declan Rice, but we'll get onto that in the team later. The biggest frustration...
Wow.
Yeah, but we'll talk later. A little cliffhanger for later on. But the biggest frustration in my team is Dean Henderson because it's like I've not had much luck with keepers this season, mainly because I picked the wrong ones and then I changed them to the wrong one. But I mean, what I'm very proud of is my midfield. You know, you've got Garner, you've got Rice, you've got Bruno Guimaraes, you've got Bruno Fernandes, these are players that keep on ticking over. I'm seeing some consternation in the chat for Joe Garner. He's like, his floor is 4. The floor is 4. And actually, what I will say, I will pass this over to Trig, because Trig is the master strategist of the pubcast. How many players in our team should we have as the swords attacking the big halls, and how many should we have as the shields that raise our floor, the likes of Garner? Because the game nowadays, we need these players to raise the baseline, but how many should we be having in our squads? Have I got too many with the likes of Garner there?
No, it looks good. I think they're the players we want. It's finding them. It's not easy at the moment. I'm looking for a player under 6 million at the moment. And I'm certainly looking more towards DEFCONs. This is in midfield. I'm looking more towards DEFCON players than the likes of Matoma type players. Do you know what I mean? So, I mean, I've got Anderson already. But outside of that, it's not easy. But I'm looking at a few for this week.
Is Tavernier back soon?
It was now. Yeah, he's back soon. I was actually thinking of getting him and putting him on my bench. I have to get somebody. I can't find anyone better at the moment, but we'll look at that when we look at the teams, won't we? But yeah, no, they're gold. Garner, is his minutes not going to be worse now that?
No, he's a 90-minute man. No, he plays behind him. It's Garner and Idrissa Gana-Gueye. And in that, like in the 2, and then you've got Dewsbury Hall ahead of them. Plus, I mean, you've got Grealish out, but yeah, I mean, Garner's played pretty much every minute of the season. Came off 7 minutes early against Chelsea in game week 16, and apart from that, he's played every minute.
Dunder saying stop transferring goalkeepers. I think that's directed to you, Andrew, from your
never.
Okay, can we move on to the talking points this week? So, just to explain to people, this is... No, I should really shout them out more because we use this graphic every week. This graphic is taken from Don't let me say it wrong, lads.
FPL team.
That's it. I always get it confused, the other one, don't I? So we've put in here that obviously we're going to know in a couple, 4 hours anyway, who the double game week second team to go through to the Carabao Cup final will be. But this is assuming, obviously, we know that Arsenal have got the double game week now in 26, and this is assuming that Manchester City go through, because it shows then who will blank. So assuming Man City go through, Arsenal, Crystal Palace, Man City and Wolves will blank in 31. If Newcastle go through instead, obviously City and Crystal Palace will play, but Newcastle and Sunderland will miss out. So the reason I put this in, lads, and I have heard people start talking about it this week, is obviously the most, as far as I'm aware, the most common talked about kit strategy is dead end into 31, wild card in 32 for the remaining doubles. Now, if you're someone like me that's only got one transfer, I figured out once the double game week is over, I'm pretty much going to have to save up. I'm going to have to use all of those transfers to make sure I can get out 11 in 31. So the reason I'm saying that is to lead into the fact of who are the best double game week players and how many do you think we should have? Because obviously, say I've got 3 Arsenal. If I was to bring in a couple of Wolves, I'm going to have to start taking hits if I want to get a full team out in 31. What's your thoughts, Trig? I mean, you're in quite a different position, ain't you, with your many transfers?
Well, what you could do is not bother using transfers to get them in. Use your free hit instead, and then you'd probably have like 3 or 4. You'd have lost your free hit, but you'd have like 3 or 4 transfers saved up.
In 31, you mean?
I mean, it's an option. I don't know if it's the best option, but you could consider it. But I think you'll be all right. But I'm obviously we're all going to have 3 Arsenal, aren't we? I've already got 2 Palace who are probably going to miss out as well. So are Wolves players worth it? I mean, Sodio likes Gomez, who's probably going to get about 5 or 6 points in that particular week. But is that worth having when you're not going to use him any other time? So I don't think it is really. So this is why I'm looking for other alternatives under 6 million rather than bringing in a Wolves midfielder just for that double game week, because the upside's pretty low in my opinion. I mean, with Gomez, you're just hoping for some DEFCONs. So,
Review wants me to get Jose Sarri. He's really keen to get me in review.
Sarri for Palace.
Wolves, for the double game.
Oh, Wolves. The goalie.
Yeah. But I don't think I think it's worth it.
Yeah, I don't think it's worth it. It depends on the fixtures for other keepers, I guess. But I don't think it's worth it, especially if you've only got 1 transfer. I mean, I guess you can hide him on the bench, can't you? But I still don't think it's
4.3,
really
I think.
He's more than Dubravka, probably, isn't he?
Yeah. So do you reckon 3 double game week players, and who would your 3 best Arsenal be, Drew?
Well, I mean, I've got to get one myself. So I've currently got Rice. So I guess you'd say Rice. Timber is good. Ray is obviously good. I'm looking at Saliba as a differential. He's only 6 million. He's 0.3 cheaper than Timber.
Saliba.
Madueke and Trossard. You know, I've had a look at Madueke. I'm slightly going off him now because we can't guarantee Saka is going to be out that long, and Martinelli can play on that side. Trossard always does well in these sort of double game weeks, doesn't he? So he's an option. But again, Eza can play over there. I don't think Martinelli will, though, because I think Martinelli's needed to replace Madueke during the games. So, and Madueke only plays about 60-odd minutes normally, doesn't he? But, they're the main options. I think Calafiori's a bit of a trap. He'll probably only play 1. Timber could be a trap. This is why I'm not that keen on Timber, because White's fully fit. So he could easily get one of those double game week games, or even the Sunderland game this week. So I'm probably not going to go Timber, but I might do.
I disagree with the Timber thing because if you look at the way the games are split, the FA Cup's in the middle, and that's the game that Ben White plays.
Maybe he did miss out quite a bit over Christmas when I had him over Christmas when they were like they weren't double game weeks, but when they had 2 games in 5 weeks, 2 games in a week. Timber, yeah, over Christmas.
He's missed one game He's missed 1 game all season.
Okay, well there we go. It was during the week where there was 2 games.
Yeah, but that's Darius's point. There's a week between Premier League fixtures in the double game week because of the FA Cup at the weekend.
But they did just play Chelsea last night, though. So I mean, he could be rotated for the Sunderland game at the weekend.
I think it's more likely he plays left back and Calafiori's rotated. They're not benching Timber. He's probably the best defender for actual defending and actual like Premier League performance, not FPL performance.
I'd say he's going to panic as well because, like, look, Man United are coming and we're only 12 points off top. He can't afford to be dropping games, Trig. So you're not going to sit there and put out the likes of Ben White and Cape when all of a sudden you've got Man United's free-flowing attack, smashing 3 goals past everyone every week, waiting in the background for a slip-up. So I dare say he knows that they're going to bottle some of these games. So there's no way he's going to piss around with it. He's not Liam Rosinia. He might. He's not a Chelsea manager, Trig. He should know this.
Ben White's a very good player, though. It's not like he's kind of second grade like the Chelsea options, but he's like pretty good. So I don't know.
Yeah, I
might just go Saliba because he's cheaper. So
the turnaround for Arsenal, they play on the Saturday against Sunderland, and then they play the Thursday night, and then it's the following Wednesday in the league. So. And then they've got another few days until playing on the Sunday against Tottenham. And then it's almost a full week till Chelsea. If you take out that Wigan game in the FA Cup, which will be where the reserves play, they have got a beautiful run of games and a good amount of space between them. They've absolutely no reason to rotate.
That Wolves game is like 3 or 4 days before the Tottenham game, which is absolutely massive for Arsenal playing Tottenham. So that's again, there could be rotation in that Wolves game.
I disagree. I think Wolves will be more difficult than Spurs, Trig, based on what the 2 teams I'm watching at the moment. Spurs are just to roll over, smash them as you go, happy go lucky, and then Wolves are actually a problem. They're not. They don't score goals, but they're hard to beat. So I actually think Wolves will be the tougher game compared to Spurs.
Well, not that game, not that particular game. Tottenham have raised themselves up for that one.
Yeah, I don't think you can really rotate, and I suppose you could, but you look pretty bad if you play like your second team against Spurs. Darius, Andy, is there any? Do you disagree about just free players? And I'll throw it at you, Darius. Would you have any Wolves players? And do you think the free Trig said, I think you said 2 double defence and Rice, didn't you, Trig, are the best ones?
Wolves are, if you're, this is what I've been saying ever since people have been bringing in money into their teams. You're investing in the shittest team in the Premier League. You've obviously got to start thinking about your life decisions, because if you're bringing in Wolves players hoping for points, you're probably, I don't know, you might be a little bit deluded. And the D unit might be a little bit deluded that Man United are going to win the title. But there's more chance of Man United winning the title than there is of Wolves players getting any points for your FPL team. I can tell you that much. Essentially, if you want to go for Gomez, don't be surprised if he gets a red card. If you want to go for Jose Sarr, don't be surprised if he ends up on -2 points from 2 games. If you want to go for Mane, don't be surprised if his floor's 4 points. You can just pick Jared Bowen against Man United in game week 26, who's going to score a goal and get 9. So, no Wolves player I can make a valid argument for that's actually worth having. In terms of Arsenal, I actually think that the best triple up may well be Timber, Gabriel, and I've been thinking about it. Like, I was doing my differentials video today. Kai Havertz might be a shout, just because of the fact that Victor Gyökeres is that shit, that I reckon that now that Havertz is back fit and available, I wouldn't be surprised if Havertz starts both games. And if he does, and he starts in the number 9 position, because Marino's gone, Marino's injured, so he's not going to be an issue. So it's going to come down to a straight shootout between Gyökeres and Havertz. My gut feel is that Havertz might actually be starting number 9 very shortly for Arsenal. And if that's the case, he might actually be the best triple up. But obviously, that would definitely be a bit of a punt. But Arteta loves him, and he's fit, and he's better than Gyökeres, so I'd play him.
Yeah, okay. Just give Shane a quick shout out there. He's saying same thing. He says double pivot. Do check out the FPL double pivot. Saying agree on Tim, but Arsenal put a second string team versus Inter Man and smashed them. He's thinking of a midfield differential. How about yourself, Andrew? And I'll ask you about your opinion on that, but then also move us on to the second part, if you don't mind, about the possibility of using a double tip in a double game.
I would say that Jose Sarr, if you've got the option, is worth thinking about. I mean, Nottingham Forest aren't a great team; they're not a heavy goal scoring team. And also, Jose Sarr in the double game week last year saved a penalty and got something like 15 points. Wolves have got the second best defensive data in the league over the last 6 games. Can they keep a clean sheet away at Nottingham Forest? That's a game they'll be targeting to get something. And if they do, then they go to Arsenal, and it's just like a free hit, really, for Jose Sarr. It wouldn't be my choice. Certainly not if you have David Raya, because then you've got no keeper in game week 31. But if you've somehow got 5 transfers and you've got nothing else to do, why not bring in Jose Sarr? I think if I had that
much transfers, yeah.
You know, it's worth a punt. But I mean, that's what it is. They're an easy avoid for most people, Wolves. For the best players for Arsenal, I mean, it's clearly Gabriel, Timber and Rice. I mean, it's not even a debate. They are the best 3 players. They are the ones that play all the time. They are the ones that get all the points, and they're the ones that are fit. Now, there will probably be other players who score more points than one of them, and then you'd be like, oh, you were wrong. But no, because we're in the prediction game, and if you're predicting who's going to get the points, you want to predict. You've got one defender who's matching Haaland for points per game. You've got one midfielder who's the second highest scoring midfielder in the game and who plays 90 minutes, showed the value of 90 minutes last night with that late assist. And then you've got Timber, who, you know, he could have had an extra 50 points in the last few weeks. So it's not even a debate to me. This rotation, people go on about rotation. It's so overplayed. Like, it just doesn't happen as much as people think. And people worry about it, and it's just a waste of energy, you know. And so they are the 3 best. The question is whether you go for the 3 best or you sack one of them off to take a gamble and try and beat the field, because anyone who's engaged with any sense will have Gabriel, Timber and Rice, will be captaining Gabriel. And most people, well, maybe not most, but a lot of people will play the triple captain on Gabriel, because why wouldn't you? You know, he's he's a joint highest points per game in the league, and he's got a double game week against 2 very average teams in Brentford and in Wolves. You know, 2 clean sheets.
Brentford aren't an average team right now. But Brentford, they're a bit better now. They're in top half of the table. I mean, the other team obviously is cannon fodder, but Brentford away is not an easy fixture.
I mean, fair enough.
Your team got smoked there, 3-1. 3-1, you got smoked.
My team gets smoked by everyone away from home. Even Man United under Amorim beat Newcastle when Newcastle were away from home. We are saving ourselves for the Cups this season, as we will find out in about 74 minutes when the Carabao champions take the field and produce the great escape in the semi-final. But
Sade's missing as well for Brentford, by the way, in that game.
Oh, yeah, he is. Triggs raises a good point. That is a big blow for Brentford in that game.
Yeah.
So I mean, that would be it. Gabriel, Timber, Rice, triple captain Gabriel, Jose Sarr if you've got a spare transfer and you've not got Raya in your team. That would be my summarised, concise version.
Lads, I'm going to quickly bring you the team news. So Man City is Trafford Nunez, the guy that sounds like a machine gun, Kushanov, Ake, Aït-Nouri, Gonzalez, Reinders, O'Reilly, Semenyo, Foden, Marmoush, no Haaland. Newcastle is Ramsdale, Trippier, Cal, Botman, Byrne, Hall, Tonali, Ramsey, Wilcock, Gordon, and Voltamade.
Wilcock.
Willock. I've got cock on the brain.
Cock on
Any
the brain.
any? I'm a bit surprised that City aren't a bit stronger in that.
They're 2 goals up, Gary, and they're playing Newcastle are absolutely horrendous away from home. They could have played out the bloody under-18s and they still would have wiped the floor of Newcastle at home.
Andrew's not looking at it. Craig, what are your plans? Are you going to use a kit mate in 26? And if so, what one?
A chip? Why would I use a chip? Oh, I guess
26.
the triple captain would be a chip.
Yeah.
I haven't really thought about it, to be honest. I'll leave that till next week. It's not that chip isn't something you actually have to plan for, so there's not much point thinking about it now. But I'm not thinking I'm going to do that, but I guess it's an option, isn't it?
Well, I think there's only one guaranteed double, isn't there? After this one, tell me if I'm wrong. In which case, you probably want to bench.
33.
Yeah, in which case I think the second one is not nailed on. I may be wrong.
Yeah, it is worth thinking about because we're going to want to definitely going to want to play our bench boost in the double game week, aren't we? So
even the big dogs have been talking about bench boost and not playing it in a double game week because it's a fally. Like if you look at the teams and the teams likely to double already, the only player that's going to be doubling is your bloody goalkeeper. And as we've seen, if you're bringing in Jose Sarr for the double, you're probably not going to go very well. So I think that's probably the only player that will double. And to be honest, it's bringing in a goalkeeper for a double normally doesn't end in many points at all.
Yeah, so certainly not in game week 26. You're not going to use your bench boost, but in the big double, it's best time to play it. You know, they might tell you they're not going to do it, but they will. So don't listen to what people say they're going to do. Just watch what they actually do.
So hang on. This is a key point. I think wasting the bench boost in a single game week this season, in the second half of this season, is stupid because you can fill your bench with 3 DEFCON players outfield and get 24 points just from them playing twice and doing nothing. 24 points as a baseline for your bench boost. So
they're not going to play twice right there. There's not going to be enough teams to double. That's the problem. Last season, there was 4 teams that doubled, right? So, for example, that's 4 times 3 is 12 players. 12 players. You might have 1 player on your bench that doubles. That's it. Probably, realistically.
No, you're going to have more. I agree, Andrew. I'd yawn too. I might start playing with a cat.
But serious, look at last season, Trig. If a championship team makes the semi-finals, that's not going to happen. Like, you won't get that many doubles. And I think if you look at all the Premier League teams already out of the FA Cup, the odds are that a championship team will make the semi-finals.
You get enough. You get enough doublers. All you need is players from a crap team that are going to play twice that can get you DEFCONs, and you can stick them on your bench and get 2 lots of DEFCONs from them. And that's all you need for the bench boost. And a goalkeeper playing twice.
8 teams have already been
beat any single one. It's why you didn't play your bench boost last week, because you know deep down that you're better off playing it in a double game week.
Just didn't think the fixtures were that good. And they were.
I'm pretty sure the only all Premier League clash in the FA Cup in the next round is Newcastle and Villa. So to say that it's odds on a championship team's going to get the semi-finals is just a bit naive to me. But why you would play for that when you could just wait and see? Because if it doesn't align that way, you can adapt to that. But why would you not? Why would you assume it's going to be crap when it could be a massive swing late in the season? What with regards to that, if Man City win tonight and they get through in the FA Cup, there will be 3 double game weeks because Man City can't double in 26. So that Palace fixture will likely go into 33. But then if they get through in the Cup, then the Cup games that move into 33, theirs couldn't because they're playing Palace. So theirs would go into 36. So if Man City win tonight, I would say it's likely that there's 3 double game weeks at least, based on what I have heard from the excellent James at Planet FPL.
But I wouldn't necessarily risk it when you've got Gabriel.
12 teams have only left in the FA Cup from the Premier League. There's 2 all Premier League ties, Liverpool versus Brighton and Aston Villa versus Newcastle. So after the 4th round, there'll only be 10 teams left. 10 teams left after the 4th round. Now, then you're probably going to get more Premier League times. That last season, there only ended up being 4, and like one of them didn't even become a double. So I don't think like they deliberately designed the calendar 2 seasons ago to make sure that they didn't end up with multiple doubles. So I dare say you guys are way overblowing it like last year, and it ended up being really bad.
So in the last 16, there's going to be 10 Premier League teams, is what you're saying. So going into the last 8, there's a possibility of there being 8 Premier League teams, and 2 of them are guaranteed. That's another way to look at it, But even so, why would you assume it's not going to happen at this stage? I mean, we can wait and see, because it probably won't happen when Newcastle put Man City to the sword tonight and send them back to Moss side with the tail between the legs.
Lads, I think we should move on to the next point for the sake of time. But something did not occur to me to do because of that elaborate plan we had set up to start the stream, is to applaud. We mentioned larger content creators. I think we may have one of them on our list now. A round of applause to doing it for reaching 10k subscribers, mate. Do you want to tell us how it feels and kick us off on the Chelsea Palmer discussion, Darius, while you're there?
Yeah, it's nice. Thank you, everyone that's pressed the sub button. Yeah, it was really funny. I was talking about. I was at training today. We went to preseason training. I almost died today. It was the first run I've done all year. Because obviously I couldn't do any exercise because of the hair and couldn't sweat, whatever. But today I almost died on the track. I was like going, I could have just been at home making a video instead of doing this shit. But it was funny. We're having to talk about it, right? So like in Kalgoorlie, there's no venue in Kalgoorlie that can hold 10,000 people. So if I got all my followers in a thing, and like Luke keeps on going, he goes, every time like I get a new number that it magically comes up with a stadium that holds that amount of people, he goes, you can fill out that venue now. Well, that's pretty sick when you think about it. So yeah, it's nice.
Be the new camp in a few years, mate.
Wow, one can dream, Gary. One can dream.
I've seen your house on Google Maps. You could get them all in your back garden.
Legit. We can right there. It's a big backyard. So Chelsea, yeah. Look, Palmer's not an option. I listened to Trig's video today and I thought it was brilliant. I thought the rant was fantastic. I wouldn't apologize either. Fuck off all the pricks that say whatever. But essentially, Cole Palmer, though, I hate to say it, Trig, you bring him in, I'm going to tell you, you're going to be here on Saturday night. Was it Saturday they play or whatever? You're going to be, fuck that little prick. He did nothing. That's what's going to happen. I just want to spare you the pain of bringing in Cole Palmer, because I can guarantee you, if he can't play 3 games a week that we've seen recently, he can't do it. He physically can't do it. He's going to miss one of these 3 games. Like, I don't know which game it's going to be, but he's going to start and probably not play much in one of the games. So if you're prepared to wear that, and I don't think he does anything when he comes on, because outside of penalties, Cole Palmer's looked absolutely horrendously bad. He's not free flowing. You can tell he needs an operation, because his movement, when you watch him run, he's not the same Cole Palmer that was running last season. He just looks injured. And I don't think that's going to recover. And I would not be going anywhere near someone that has any kind of injury. And I think that he's just a no-go. When you can get so many better Chelsea players for a lot less money, he is just a complete and utter avoid for me. And I did listen to what you said. I just didn't see any reasoning behind it other than the fact you're trying to throw a Hail Mary and hope that it sticks.
That's exactly what I'm doing. Going for a differential, who I love watching. I'm a Chelsea supporter. That fixture in game week 27, home to Burnley, I'll be there for that with Palmer. He'll be there because, like you said, it's only the FA Cup either side of it. And yes, he might only get half an hour in one of these 2 games, but I'll settle for that. And the reason he didn't start yesterday was because Rossignol was worried about extra time. So he thought he was much better off for having Palmer for like 1 half and extra time rather than starting him. But he's still saying he's fully fit, so we shall see. He is gradually improving his minutes. And most people can't get to him, which is another reason I'm getting him. So they can't get to him, which is why they don't talk about him. You know, you don't see the streamers talking about him because they've already bought Enzo and they don't have any space for Palmer. So they can't get him even if they wanted to. So therefore, they don't discuss him. But I'm quite happy getting him as a differential. I like having a different team than everyone else. I enjoy watching Chelsea and I can enjoy it a lot more when I've got Palmer in my team. And it's only going to be for like 3 weeks. And the other good thing about it is when I sell him after his good fixtures, when they've got Arsenal, I can buy whoever I want for him. Whereas the people that have just got Enzo are going to want to probably kick him out and they won't have so many options. So I don't need the money. I mean, I know he's not worth the money. I was listening to Harry. He was going on, Palmer's not worth the money. And he isn't. But then again, Eva's Haaland. Lots of players aren't worth the money, but for 2 or 3 weeks, it doesn't really matter. So I'm prepared to take the punt.
What about other Chelsea assets, Trig?
Chalobah's a good one. Sanchez is probably all right, but I wouldn't rule out a start for Christensen in those 3 games. But I think João Pedro is good. You know, he was great for me at the start of the season. He looks like he's grown in stature in that team. But yeah, I can't really get. I mean, I could get to him. I could get Enzo and João Pedro, but then I'd have to take Thiago out, and Thiago's got great fixtures coming up again soon. So I just João Pedro.
I wanted to ask you about that because I've obviously queued the thing for later, but I've taken a hit to bring João Pedro in because I've worked out the next 3 weeks, João Pedro is going to easily outscore Thiago by 4 points, and I'm just going to move him straight back, and I'm going to make some team value at the same time. But
he probably will.
Yeah, that's why I've been taking the hits this year. Like I've been maximizing the points that week, and I've been getting away with it because of my read on what I think players are going to bang has been fairly on it the last 8 or 9 weeks, which is when I've been taking all the hits. Start of the year, I was completely off it. I don't know. I was in holiday mode. I was in top 5K mode, thinking it was just going to roll in again. And then I'm like, let's get back to what we do, and that's chase points.
Home to Burnley, he could really go to town in game week 27. Because I think Gui and Delap would be playing the FA Cup either side of it. So João Pedro probably will play in that Burnley fixture. So, I mean, he could, couldn't it? It could be one of the 5 goal games. So I'm a bit worried about not having him.
Andrew, I didn't notice before, that's a Newcastle Christmas jumper you got on there. Very nice.
I did tell you while we were waiting to come on.
You said it was Christmas. I didn't realize it was a Newcastle Christmas jumper. I said it was a Newcastle shirt. Then you said it was a Christmas jumper. Anyway, if you wanted to talk about Palmer, you suggested putting this in the side.
Yeah, I just obviously the great Kanji from the FPL lock-in. He is very high on Cole Palmer because of game week 27 with the captaincy. Because he says Chelsea against Burnley, Cole Palmer is the best captain option that week when, you know, Arsenal play Spurs, Man City play Newcastle, Liverpool play Forest. But I would just say, hold your horses there, Kanji, because he's missed something here. And it's going to hurt me to say it, but I actually think game week 27, the best captain is Erling Haaland because he's playing Newcastle. And Newcastle are away at Spurs, then they're away at Villa in the Cup, then they've got to go away to Karabakh in Baku in Azerbaijan, and then 3 days later they're playing Man City away, arrested Man City, who are going to have retribution on the mind after getting thumped tonight. And Haaland or Semenyo, Newcastle are stretched defensively. We've got 5 fit defenders. We're playing them all tonight. We're probably not going to have 5 fit defenders by that Man City match. If we do, they're going to be worn out. Semenyo or Haaland are much better captains than Cole Palmer in game week 27. I wouldn't even have Cole Palmer in my top 2 Chelsea captains in game week 27, if I'm honest. I would say Enzo and Joao Pedro are both ahead of him. So that was the point I wanted to make. I wanted to make Kanji's point about Cole Palmer being the captain option in 27, and I wanted to refute it by saying back against Newcastle, because I will be.
Okay. All right. So one of the things I do think is we know it as seasoned FPL players, when we get into this time of year, quite often we forget to talk about the teams who aren't doubling or blanking, etc. So I just thought I'll just highlight a couple of teams here who aren't doubling or blanking, who've got good fixtures and bad fixtures. Just doing a scroll here. Villa have got really good fixtures, particularly after 26. Bournemouth, you've got Villa, Everton, but then West Ham, Sunderland, Brentford, Burnley. And where was the other one? Who's the other one I wanted to highlight? I plan it all in my head and then it doesn't come out.
Manchester United have good fixtures.
Yeah. Well, I'll say they're all right.
Good fixtures.
Palace, good. Sunderland, look at that. Arsenal, Liverpool, Fulham, Bournemouth. Their fixtures are really going to... Is there anyone, lads, I just ask you each, like, you think we should be keeping our eye on who isn't in this time when everyone's just going to be talking about doubles? Trig?
Sarr for Palace, probably on penalties. Excellent. The only downside with him is when City do win tonight, he's going to miss game week 31. So you're kind of loading up on another problem potentially. But the fixtures for Palace are fantastic. Burnley at home and Wolves at home coming up. But we'll see what happens tonight. It'd be a lot better if Newcastle do beat City tonight. Bournemouth have got good fixtures coming up as well. And Villa, I'm looking at Douglas Luiz, who could be on penalties, only costs 4.9 million. And I've asked a question in the Solio Discord of why they're only predicting that he's on 60 minutes every match. I'm not sure why he's only predicted to get 60 every match, but I want to find out if that's true or not. Because if he's playing more, I think he's a very good option for me to bring in as a stocking filler, so I can afford to get the best Arsenal assets.
Andrew? Sorry.
Well, for me, I have got a big problem. Well, not a big problem in midfield, but if Bruno Guimaraes isn't fit at the weekend, I'm going to have to make a decision on whether to carry him or replace him. Because after this week, it's Tottenham and Man City away, so I'm not even going to be playing him for 3 weeks. So, and the only two people I'm looking at are Semenyo and Florian Wirtz. And Liverpool's fixtures, I would say, including this weekend, are delightful. You've got a Man City in defensive disarray. You know, they're going to be embarrassed in a couple of hours again. But even without that, you know, teams aren't finding it hard to score against Man City. Rodri can't turn. All the best defenders are out. Gahey is, you know, fair enough, he's good, but he's still adapting. But also, like this weekend, I'm considering the Ekitike captaincy because Man City concede all their goals. Yeah. Well, Man City concede most of their goals from that right back position, which is where Ekitike drifts into. If you look at against Newcastle, he scored that goal, the toe poke from that position. And then after that, you've got Sunderland, Forest, West Ham, Wolves, Spurs, Brighton, Fulham, and then it's the wild card. I mean, that's a great fixture run. So I'm thinking Wirtz because he's the man in form and he's got the fixtures, and that is the dream combination in FPL. The other option, of course, I've just said is Semenyo. And again, I think Semenyo's a great captaincy option this weekend because Liverpool concede a lot of their goals from that left-back position. Last week, Anthony Gordon scored in the Premier League for the first time from open play in over a year from that Liverpool left-back position in the penalty area. That's how bad they are. And they're up against Semenyo, who has already scored twice at Anfield this season, playing for Bournemouth. Now he's playing for Manchester City. So I think he's a good captaincy option this week. And then after that, it's Fulham, it's Newcastle. I've already talked about Newcastle's weakness by game week 27. Then it's Leeds, Forest, West Ham, and then potentially Crystal Palace or a blank. I think Semenyo's a great pick. And, you know, he's not talked about as much, probably because people just think there's better options to discuss at the minute. But I don't think there is. I think those are the two midfield options to be considering. If you can't get to them, then the obvious one is Enzo Fernandez switching to Kevin Sade or Dango Ouattara in game week 28, which gives you the fixture run of Wolves, Leeds, Burnley, Brighton, Burnley, Bournemouth, Wolves, Leeds, and then it's the wildcard 32. They're the only three options for me, and I don't know why anybody would be looking elsewhere, really, except maybe Elliot Anderson, who sounds stupid, but Semenyo's got 3 goals and an assist in his last 6 games. Elliot Anderson's got 1 assist in his last 6 games, and he's outscoring Semenyo. And that is just the way the game is played. And we can twine about it, and we can moan about it, and we can say this isn't real FPL, but that is this season's game. So Elliot Anderson is the other one I would consider. But yeah, beyond Semenyo, Vert, Anderson, if you've got all 3 of them, great. Declan Rice if you want a doubler, maybe Madueke if you are feeling a bit frisky. But beyond that, they're the only ones really worth considering for me. But what about you, Gary? What are your recommendations? Because your opinion doesn't get asked a lot on this channel, your own channel. You're seen as the host, but you're actually doing better than all of us. You're destroying the D unit. You are leaving the nightmare rendered in the land of sleep. And even the golden goat, Nick Triggerlips, has been taken to the abattoir by Gary from the Pubcast. So why I feel what we are doing here is giving Gary the ideas, and then he's using all the best ones to get ahead of all of us. And none of us ask Gary's opinion, and he's the best player of all of us in the modern era. And it's beyond dispute. He came 3,000 in the world 3 years ago. He's ahead of all of us comfortably now, even the golden goat Nick Trigger. And you know, maybe that's what happened on Saturday night. Trigger realised once again Gary had left him in the mud, and he thought, I'm not hanging around for Gary here. So, Gary, give us some opinion. Give us some insight. Give us that glorious psychological doctorate brain of how to attack the next few weeks.
Well, it's difficult for me to say because, to be honest with you, as I said earlier, and as we'll get on to, my transfers are pretty much going to be getting people in for this double game week and then getting them out for game week 31. But if it wasn't this time of the season, I'd probably have my eye on a couple of Villa, Rodgers, Bournemouth. I quite like to get Senesi back in. Outside of that, I've not really thought. Maybe a Crystal Palace attacker, but I've not really thought too much out of that. Thank you for that, for your kind words there, Andrew.
We can see the FPL review website reflected in your glasses, Gary.
Gary, is there anyone you want to mention, mate, before we go on to have a look at the game week?
To be honest, I am. Originally I was going to sell Verts last week. This week actually, and getting Cunha as a Man United triple up. But Verts has been that good. And Liverpool's fixtures post this week. And to be honest, I'm concerned at the moment. I've got Verts bench this week, but I just think that he's the most logical benching. But I would not be surprised if he dominated and got me more points on my bench, which is inevitable. Someone on the bench will get me points again this week. But outside of them, I'm not really too keen on Bournemouth. Like, a lot of people look at those fixtures there and they don't tell the full story. All those nice fixtures are away from home. West Ham's away. Burnley, I believe, is away as well. Like, they were lucky that Wolves are that bad that they got the win on the weekend, because Wolves actually won the XG. They had the better chances. They just had no one that knows how to score. And I think that they were kind of lucky that they got what they got in that game. Outside of that, Palace look like good fixtures, right? And I feel for Nightmare because obviously he's got Henderson goal, and, you know, in theory you'd like to hope for a couple of clean sheets. But they are playing in Europe. And I think once Europe comes back in, like, Glasgow wants to win with a trophy in his final thing. I don't think he cares where they finish in the league as long as they don't get relegated. So will they really will they really play the players in the Premier League? I feel like it's got, you know, the classic Poch and Amarin from last year where they just sit there and go, we're going to tank the league. It doesn't matter if we finish 17th as long as we win Europe. I reckon that might be what happens with Palace.
They always tail off anyway, Palace. So I'm thinking of getting rid of Lacroix, actually. I know they've got decent fixtures, haven't they? But Home to Burnley and Wolves. Can I get rid of Lacroix now? I don't know. But yeah, I'm not that high on Palace, really.
I actually think Palace will turn it around a little bit because now the transfer window's closed. There's not all this speculation. Is Mateta going to leave? Is Gahey going to leave? They know the players that are in place for now. And all they've really lost this window is Mark Gahey. Yes, he's a big loss, but they play 5 at the back. So I do think, I mean, the thing is, you say that they might just throw the league. They're only 9 points off relegation, and West Ham have got Bowen. Like, they can't really afford to switch off just yet. Once they get to 36 points, 37 points, maybe. But I think they'll use this run to cement it. And then, like you say, I think they're going to prioritise cup advancement. But like, the thing is, Glasner wants a big job. He wants to do a company and go to a big club from Palace. And if he tanks them out, then he's not going to get that. I think he's already marked his own card a little bit by being so petulant. Like, which big club is going to bring in somebody as petulant as that, who's got 1 FA Cup on his resume? You know, who plays such a terrible formation, which has been proven to fail at Man United over the last 2 years. You know, is it translatable to a big club? I don't know. I think Glasner needs to realise he's actually quite lucky to be where he is.
Should we move on, lads, to Darius's favourite part of the show, as always, the game week preview with Rob T's slides. So I'll briefly read out what the fixtures are. So I do remember it's a Friday deadline. Is it 6 or 6:30? I can't remember. I think it's 6:30, isn't it? On Friday, the deadline.
2 correct predictions from the D unit last week, by the way, just FYI. 2 correct score predictions, Nightmare. Can you believe it?
That's muting.
I can definitely believe that you got 8 predictions wrong last week, Darius. Don't you worry.
The glass is half full always with Darius. You got even if the glass is only that full, you know, at the full point of predictions. So Leeds at Forest, Leeds slight favourites there. Man United versus Spurs, Man United favourites there. Arsenal versus Sunderland. Obviously, Arsenal clear favourites there. Highest predicted goals and highest predicted clean sheet odds. Bournemouth versus Aston Villa. I mean, it's a draw according to Rob T. Pretty much inseparable, but Villa very slightly ahead. Burnley versus West Ham. West Ham slight favourites there. Wolves Chelsea favourites there. Fulham Everton. Fairly tight, but Fulham favourites. Newcastle Brentford. Newcastle favourites there. Brighton versus Crystal Palace. Brighton are favourites, and Liverpool City, obviously very close as you'd expect. Liverpool slight favourites. So, lads, I'm going to do a captain poll here, but Trig, I mean, who do you think I should put in? I'll start a captaincy poll. Just talk us through your thoughts, Captain Trig, and I'll put the others in depending on what you say.
Bruno, Gabriel.
Joao Pedro.
I suppose you've got to put Haaland in. Yeah, put Joao Pedro in.
We can only do 4. We do Bruno, Haaland, Gabriel, and then someone else will do, yeah?
Yeah, Haaland and Joao Pedro.
Who do you think's the best, Trig?
Bruno,
yeah? Who have they got again? Because he seems really high favourite this week.
Tottenham.
Spurs. Yeah. Andrew, will you be captaining Bruno?
Maybe. Like I said about 5 minutes ago, I'm considering Ekitike because I feel like his strengths are Man City's weaknesses. Man City obviously have the big game tonight, whereas Liverpool have the week off. And I just fancy Liverpool in that game, to be honest. I think these projections are pretty accurate, to be honest. I feel like the difference between the teams is reflected. I feel Fulham and Everton, I actually think Everton are going to do better than Fulham. But apart from that, I don't really think there's much to argue with here, if I'm honest with you. Darius likes arguing. He'll find something.
Darius, do these match your predictions to the week, mate? Are you going to
Liverpool versus Man City? And Liverpool have won 1 game in 5 game weeks. How can they be? I know Man City have been bad, but Man City have been better than Liverpool over the last 5 weeks. That is just factually wrong. I could just call out straight what it is. I don't think That is correct. I know that it's close, and Nightmare will say, well, he's actually predicting a draw. Well, he's still got Liverpool favourites, and that's my issue.
Man City have only won one game in the last 5 game weeks. So, I mean, I don't know what your point is.
Well, who did Liverpool beat? They beat
Newcastle.
That doesn't count. Newcastle horrendous post-Champions League. He might as well. They could be like Southampton from last year when they play in the Champions League. They're just that bad. In terms of the other ones, Burnley versus West Ham, and Burnley are favourites. No, they're not. Sorry, I take that back. I was looking at the wrong thing. I was getting a bit excited there. Saw that and thought that he's cooked it. He's cooked it. West Ham had definitely beaten Burnley by at least a goal, and he's not predicting a goals advantage there, so he's got that wrong. Fulham are going to smoke Everton. I'm completely anti what Nightmare just said about that. Everton have been crap, and they've lost Jackie Grealish, and without Jackie Grealish, they're going to struggle to score goals. And to be honest, I'd play Anderson. If you've got Anderson from Fulham defence this week, lock in the 8 points because he's keeping a clean sheet because Everton aren't scoring, and Harry Bloody Wilson's going to probably score himself a hat-trick against that back line at the back there. In terms of the other things, Bournemouth versus Aston Villa, I think Aston Villa should be way heavier favourites than Bournemouth. Bournemouth, I know they've had an upturn in form, but they've played easier teams. Aston Villa are third. They're probably going to come unstuck this weekend. And he's only predicted 2 goals for Man United. What world is he living on? Has he watched Man United the last 3 weeks under Michael Carrick? We are smoking Liverpool. So we smoked Fulham for 3. We're going to smoke Spurs for at least 3 goals, if not more. Wouldn't be surprised. We probably won't keep a clean sheet, but we'll definitely. He's got the Tottenham goals right, but he's got the Man United ones massively under.
He hasn't done anything. It's prediction. It's betting markets.
Well, the bettors know nothing, Gary. It's all the bloody Newcastle fans getting a little bit deluded, thinking they're going to kick 1.75 goals on the weekend after they play midweek. When in reality, they're probably closer to scoring 1.
If do you not think Wissa against Brentford is got the narrative to get a couple of goals there? Like, let's be serious. Also, when you say you're saying this earlier today, Darius, that you're scared to captain Bruno Fernandes. You're scared to captain him because you don't think Man United are going to do the business against Tottenham because of the kickoff time. So now, because Rob T actually says no, Man United are going to win. Apparently, Rob T is wrong. I'm just very confused. Like, it's almost like you put out so many videos that you lose track of what you're saying from one to the next. You know, this is your secret. You've always got the clip because you've said every different possibility in different videos.
Yeah, there 700, 800 players in the Premier League. Darius predicts something for every one of them 3 ways every single week. Can we move on to differentials, Ed? Andy, you want to say something?
No. I felt like I say, I think it's all pretty give or take. I mean, what he's predicting here is a lot of close games, and in most of them, the home team will have the advantage. But what I would say, I will just go back to that. Liverpool have only beat Newcastle. In the last 5 game weeks, Man City have only beat Wolves, and they're the worst team in the league, apparently. So, you know, it's like, it is what it is there. But I think Liverpool will beat Man City.
Mm-hmm.
I do.
Okay. Can we move on to the differentials? So anyone who's not watched before, this is where the 6 of us pick under 5% own player each week, and we keep up with we keep a weekly score of how we've done since we started in whatever game week it was, game week 9 or something. So top of the pile this week was Trig with Hudson Odoi, who got Trig 8 points. I'm still top of the table with this one with 78 points. I had Lefay with 5. I think Darius is in second, aren't you, Darius? With although Ahmed only got him 2 points this week. Very close between Trig and Nightmare, but Nightmare's in third with 52 points. And down the bottom are the 2 youngsters of the podcast. Roberto's just about in 5th with an Evan Nilsson 2-pointer, and Kanji right at the bottom now with an unfortunate Esteval 0-pointer. Let's move on to this week's ones. So I'll say my one first of all. I've been going with against Burnley, and I did watch your differentials video earlier, Darius, where you said that I should be keeping on going I just couldn't find a Burnley player under 5%. I know Trig's got one, fair enough. But Gordon, I think nearly all of you have had him at some point. I've not had him yet. I thought I'm going to get him in while I can. Brentford at home is possibly not the best fixture, but he could do something. I think he's got the best stats out of all the players on this graph. But it is a bit of a shot in the dark. But Trig, but you have gone with a West Ham player, Somerville away to Burnley. What's your thoughts behind that one, man?
Yeah, he's been in great form. I think West Ham are ticking up a bit with all their new players. They got rid of Paguitar, and they're showing a bit of form. And I think Burnley are a bit on the slide now. I think reality's hitting them. They're going to be getting relegated. Yeah. I mean, they're still pretty good at home, but I think West Ham really, really need the points, don't they? I mean, they're in a scrap. So I can see West Ham winning that game. I think Rob T's got it right. I think they'll probably get 2 goals at least. So, and Somerville's been doing well. I should have picked Esteval probably, but at the time I thought he was still in Brazil, but he's back. He came on in the second half, looked a bit distracted and was pretty rubbish, but he probably will start at the weekend. So he's another Chelsea option.
Nightmare's gone for Ayari, who I know from doing the FPL lock-in every single week. I seem to be reading out his name, which means he's been getting a lot of returns at home to Crystal Palace. Andrew.
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember. I watched it. I was watching some other podcast. I watched so many, I can't remember. But somebody brought up his recent record. And in his last 6 game weeks that he's played, because he did miss a game, he's got 5 points, 4 points, 12 points, 5 points, 11 points, and 6 points. And he's got 5 points against both Man City and Arsenal away. So he's got Crystal Palace at home. He's got 2 goals and 3 assists in his last 6 starts. He's got 3 DEFCON points, 3 DEFCON bonuses in that time. Why not? It's a punting challenge. Why not take a punt? And he's only 4.8 million. So Trig was talking about a defensive player with these different avenues to points. Maybe AR is one for him to look at, but the fixtures aren't the best. They're not the best, but they're not bad.
Is he a mid or a defender?
He's a midfielder.
Midfielder. Well, he's doing well then, yeah, for 5.5. Darius, you've gone for the man we assume is going to get more minutes with Saka out to game week 27, Madueke. Darius. Earth to Darius.
Oh.
Is he frozen?
Paying attention.
Bullshit.
I know he is. I think he's frozen.
I've had 21 shots for 1 goal, and I've somehow conceded against this shitty team that's not.
Oh, he's on his game.
Oh, he's playing football.
It's winding me up. It's winding me up. I'm sorry. I apologize. Madueke. Originally, I was going with Benjamin Šeško, and I did toy up going with Harry Maguire because, deluded unit is up and about. Man United are going to win the league. But I've gone with relatively the safe pick here now that Saka, we pretty confident is going to miss on the weekend, which means Madueke should start. And if he takes as many corners as he did the week before, he's 100% going to be returning. So I've just thought, based off what I saw last week and the fact that somehow, after I was doing my own differentials video, I was like, how's he not been claimed by anyone? I was like, hold on, let me change. And I've gone with Madueke instead. I reckon he's going to bang.
Yeah, I'm still thinking I might get him in, for this double. Because there's no way they're going to risk Saka in that Wolves match when it's 3 days before Tottenham. So I think he's pretty nailed for that. But I'm a little bit concerned about Martinelli. But like you said, they're going to get so many corners in these games, aren't they? Like home to Sunderland, Wolves.
Did you feel a bit like
brilliant at them?
Did you feel a bit like he was stealing our Saka points? The weekend, Trig, you know what I mean, with the corner.
Yeah, I know.
It's really frustrating.
I think Saka would have done well against Leeds as well.
Yeah.
But to be fair, Madueke's corners look a lot better than Saka's. So I can't see Mateta leaving him out when he's taking the corners like that. I guess, right? Can Rice take them from that side? I don't know if he can.
Trig, you were watching the Chelsea match last night, and Chelsea were using the strategy of leaving more players up the pitch and having players break before the corner took, I had like 3 players left up the pitch in an attempt to reduce Arsenal's numbers in the penalty box and relieve the pressure on the goalkeeper. Do you think other teams could adopt that, and how will that impact Arsenal's set-piece chances going forward if more teams do this?
I thought that was very clever from Rossini doing that, because he kind of the penalty box is no longer crowded, so it meant the players that were there could kind of work it out a bit better. I think sometimes it's overcrowded, and I think that kind of helps the attackers sometimes. But yeah, they had to be a bit more careful, didn't they? Because Chelsea could have got a counter attack from the corners. So I don't know if Sunderland better do that though. But
no, Sunderland will probably just have everyone behind the ball. But no, I think it's a good, like it used to always be the way that you'd leave someone on the halfway line from a corner, and nobody seems to do it anymore. And I don't get it. Like I don't understand why teams aren't always leaving the fastest player on the halfway line, and then you've just got that big punt over the top for them to chase. Like that's schoolboy stuff, and it works. And like this is maybe football becoming a bit overcomplicated, but sometimes you just need to keep it simple and stick the fast men on the edge of the area and have them break as the corner's about to go and give the defence something to think about.
So we'll go just quickly to mention Roberto and Candy's picks. Sarr and Roberto's gone for, and Candy's gone for Ahmed. Trig, Roberto's pick. You was talking about Sarr earlier. You were going to do something?
Who's he picked?
Sarr.
Yeah, no, Sarr's good. Maybe this is his worst week of the next 3, but it's still not a terrible fixture. So he is a very good differential now. I don't know. Does Strand Larsen take penalties for Wolves?
He does, I think, doesn't he? I think he did when he was on the field.
Maybe he will take penalties off Sarr now he's joined.
He did have a terrible one, Strand Larsen, that he missed earlier in the season. And to me, actually, I think it might be a bit like Gordon and Voltemada, whereas Strand Larsen might want them, but Sarr might call seniority. But, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily assume he's going to lose them just because the strikers come in, because it's all the dynamics, isn't it? But, yeah.
Yeah, he's only gained them himself. He only took one, didn't he? He hasn't taken them before. It was always Mateta, wasn't it?
Andrew, I don't want to disturb Darius in case he's still on his computer game. What's your thoughts on Ahmed, mate? And then we'll move on to the teams.
Well, I love Amad Diallo. I wish Newcastle had signed him instead of Alanga in the summer when there was maybe a possibility, but it wasn't like Amad. I was saying at the pre-season, I thought if he gets the minutes, he'll be a 170-point player this season. Obviously, that hasn't really translated so far. Only 2 goals and 4 assists, but I mean, he's an exciting player, and he's always one that can make something happen. And I think it's a good pick. Spurs are a poor team. They've got a lot of injury problems, especially in defence. If Van der Ven's out, then you take your pick from that Man United attack for who's going to get the points, and Ahmad's got as much chance as anyone, really.
Okay, can we move on to our teams? I've put myself first. I've even started planning, lads, of exactly when I'm going to need to go to the toilet. I thought I'll put myself on first. I'll get through it quick, and then I'll go for my pad on my nose moment. So my team, I've only got one free transfer. I've only got 1.1 million in the bank. My team currently is Dubravka at home to West Ham, Gabriel and Timber at home to Sunderland, Hall at home to Brentford, Anderson at home to Everton, Fernandez at home to Spurs, Elliot Anderson away to Leeds, Enzo away to Wolves, Saka, I've just got him in because I took this screenshot before the injury news came out, and then Thiago away to Newcastle, Haaland away to Liverpool. I currently have Szoboszlai benched, as well as Kelleher, which I may regret, and Lacroix. But what I'm most interested to come to here is my transfer was already nailed on. Andrew will know as a channel member what my transfer is going to be, which is Saka to Rice. And I'm interested, Andrew, because you said you were going to sell Rice earlier. So do you reckon that's a bad move on my part?
No. I mean, like I said earlier, Gabriel Timber Rice is the sensible way to go. And it's the only one you're going to do because you are a very sensible player and you don't need to take the risk. what I was meaning for me, from my position of 1.5 million or wherever I am, I maybe do need to take a risk, and maybe Madueke in a double game week, or David Raya even in triple defence. Maybe they are the sort of gambles that could give me that little bit of an edge in the short term. That's the only reason I was considering selling Rice, because he's going to be so highly owned, and if he does get a couple of blanks, that's a great opportunity to attack the field. But I don't think it's a sensible move. It's a gamble. I don't think I'll do it because there's other things I need to do. But it's certainly, I feel like Gyökeres maybe and Havertz maybe need to be discussed in this double game week as well, because people go on about strikers, but Havertz scored last night and Gyökeres is nailed for the penalties now. So if Arsenal get a penalty, then, you know, but I wouldn't. I mean, Kieran is recommending Zubimendi. I mean, I don't know. Who am I to argue with Kieran? One of the top 3 FPL content creators in the world, and has been consistently at the top of the rankings this season. FPL discomfort.
Yeah, I was of the FPL double pivot.
It's between him, Big Andy, and FPL Marcelo, who was on this channel not so long back. They're the 3 that are breaking free from the pack, and you know he would know. He's an Arsenal fan. Maybe Zubimendi is one we need to look at. I don't know.
Trossard's one that people are looking at as well.
He's good. He can go big in any game, Trossard.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to Trig's team so I can go and powder my nose. Trig has got 4 free clearances, which makes me very jealous. 0.8 in the bank, and he has got Sanchez away to Wolves, Gabriel at home to Sunderland, Tarkowski at home away to Fulham, Anderson home to Everton, Elliot Anderson away to Leeds, Cherky currently yellow flagged away to Liverpool, Bruno captain. Bruno was my captain, by the way. I don't think I said that. Saka obviously injured, but at home to Sunderland. Rice at home to Sunderland. Haaland vice captain away to Liverpool. Thiago away to Newcastle, and Lacroix and Virgil on the bench, along with Dubravka and the player that never starts. Gui, talk us through it, Greg, while I do my customary thing.
Yes, apparently Shirky must be fit because he's on the bench tonight, which makes him prime for a start at the weekend. Now, Shirky outscored Semenyo at the weekend. Everyone always on about Semenyo this, Semenyo that. Shirky is City's best player. Right, so do I get rid of him? I've got to get rid of the prick, actually, because
I wouldn't get rid of him. I wouldn't get rid of him. He's going to be going
I don't want to
this weekend. He's going to rinse him.
I'm tempted to change my plans because, like, Saka to Palmer forces me to sell Cherky, which is a bit of an issue because I have to try and free up money to get another Arsenal player in. Unless, so if I go Madueke, it means getting rid of Cherky. Or even if I go Saka to Palmer, one of my defenders to Timber, I still have to get rid of Cherky to afford it. Or even if I get Raya, I still have to get rid of Cherky. So maybe Palmer. I don't really, I'm going to have to rethink all my videos this week, I think. On the
as an easy solution, you just turf out Virgil van Dijk. You've got the bullet shoulder from him. There's no reason
I'm keeping Van Dijk. I like my defenders.
I reckon he's the one that can go.
A couple of great fixtures coming up. Virgil's got great fixtures coming up. So I don't really want to take any of them out. So I'd quite like Raya, I think. But maybe I shouldn't get Palmer. Maybe I should just get Enzo, get Raya, and keep Cherky is an option. But is Cherky an FPL option? I mean, this is the thing. It's like Andrew was saying. Can he outpoint Anderson of Forest, for example? Because you look, he like 70 minutes or whatever he plays. I mean, he is good for bonus as well, Cherky, though, isn't he? And he's a good differential. So, maybe I'll have a rethink on my transfers this week. I think people know who follow my videos now that I do change my mind as the week goes on. There was a time I used to pick a player and then I'd like I wouldn't change it because I'd be like, oh, I've said I'm going to do it now, so I've got to do it. But I'm not like that these days. So I could still change my mind on my transfers, I think. I'm going to have a detailed look because I do quite like Shirky. I don't know if I really want to get rid of him.
I think one thing to think about is that obviously if Man City do win tonight against all the odds, then you've got 5 outfield players who will be, 6 outfield players who will be blanking in game week 31 with the 3 Arsenal, the 2 Man City and Lacroix as well. And that's something that's going to really affect you in game week 31. So maybe that is something to consider with regards to your transfers, replacing the likes of Lacroix or Shirky or Haaland for players who will be playing in game week 31. I think Mbeumo would look good in this team. I think he would be
another reason to get Raya because I can bench him in 31.
Yeah, well, this is the thing, Raya or even Donnarumma if you wanted, but I think that's another thing I'm looking at with Rice. If I did sell Rice, I could get Raya in, and then that solves the Henderson problem with David Raya, and then I could replace Rice with one of these attacking midfielders, Semenyo, Wirtz, and Mbeumo, and maybe I could make more points in the aggregate and also cover my squad for game week 31. But that is what I mean. If Newcastle win tonight, it's a delight for the Trig. Because he's got the 3 Arsenal,
I've got no Sunderland either, and they'd miss game week 31 if Newcastle win.
Well, this is interesting.
No Newcastle, no Sunderland. So.
This is interesting about Newcastle and Sunderland because the police want that match as early as possible because it is one that leads to violence. The later it is, and that is the game week 31. That is the early kickoff on the Sunday, Newcastle and Sunderland. But if that match is cancelled, there's nowhere they can put it for an early kickoff. So it actually does cause a lot of problems for the Premier League. So if there are a few dodgy decisions tonight, you have to wonder if the police have got involved to screw Newcastle for the safety of the fans. You just have to, we've already seen Arsenal scared of Eddie Howe, planting the story about Tonali in the papers over the last couple of days, trying to cause a bit of discord in the camp ahead of the semi-final. Like, Cup Newcastle is a different beast, especially in that Carabao Cup. I'm so excited. And I can't stop talking, and it's a problem because we're going to talk past the kickoff, and then it'll become a watch along, and that's when it's a problem for Trig.
Let's move on to
danger zone.
It's not FPL, so and it's not Chelsea playing, so I think we'd be fine.
Well,
I know you want to get away.
I'm
what if Shirky gets injured? I'll be off.
Injured on the bench somehow. He's out warming up, and Trippier kicks him.
He could get concussed.
Darius's team in his customary graphic here is Sanchez away to Wolves, Gabriel and Timber on to Sunderland, Calabria also away to Wolves, Rice at home to Sunderland, Wilson home to Everton, and Burmo and Fernandez. Yeah, and Burmo does look good at the minute, doesn't he? In teams at home to Spurs, Bowen away to Burnley, Holland away to Liverpool, João Pedro away to... You're looking very strong this week, mate, I've got to say.
That's why I take the hits every week, baby, because you believe it or not, sometimes chasing the free hit team of the week nightmare can equal points every single week, even with a hit. As we've found out recently, D has been climbing. He has been clawing back Gary. He's been clawing back the Trig. He's overtaken the nightmare and left him in the rear view mirror. In fact, we're actually trying to look in the desert dust out here in Kalgoorlie to see if Nightmare's still back there or not. But so he's just been completely bamboozled by the D unit hit machine, and we've rolled them. We've got another -4 in the bag. And look, everyone was like going. I remember, I think it was, can't remember who it was that said, "Why'd you do it before?" I was like, "Going well, I had triple Chelsea, triple Arsenal. I didn't care what the result was. I was going to have my triple up already in place." And after I watched that 45 minutes against West Ham, when he came off the bench, I was like, I don't even care if he starts on the bench. He's going to come on for 45 minutes and probably still get 10 plus points with the way that the teams they're playing again. I am slightly concerned about the fact that Chelsea are only paying $1.66 for a win, which basically makes me think that the bookies actually think there's half a chance they might not win the game, which is concerning. So, yeah, but it's probably going to be, it's either going to be João Pedro captain or Bowen captain. I was torn about which one I like the best, but it's going to be one of them. They don't play in the early kickoff. Completely ruled out Bruno Fernandes, completely ruled out Mbeumo straight out the game. But so for me, it's between those two forwards this week.
I thought the bookies were idiots.
Yeah, most of the time, Trig, most of the time, but sometimes I get a little bit spooked.
Do you know it's Craig? Anytime Andrew's not on, he's so differential to Andrew. Oh, the brilliant Andrew, my mate, FPL Nightmare. But as soon as you're on, I'm leaving Nightmare in the dust, you know. And this is what you get when you're on team with him. Andrew, any thoughts on Darius's team here? I already think it looks really good.
I am looking forward to the lock-in this weekend when he goes on about how unlucky he is about all the points on his bench. That is, you know, I mean, you talk about Mookie Haley's nailed on for DEFCONs this week. Sunderland will probably play 5 at the back. He'll be at centre-back, so that's DEFCON City. Wirtz is going to... I mean, I can't believe you're not starting Wirtz, to be honest. Like, Wilson, yeah.
I'm actually thinking of benching Haaland. I'm thinking of benching Haaland for Wirtz. Because,
why not?
Clay mentioned in the chat before, he's never scored at Anfield. So if there's a week to bet against him, it's probably this week.
Well, why not? You know, I mean, he's got a nice rest. Liverpool are quite, you know, even all I'd say is even Anthony Gordon scored at Anfield from open play. So I'm sure
he's quick.
Erling Haaland, like, I was actually looking at this, like somebody put out a thing before about Haaland earlier in the season compared to now, and it was like the first 14 game weeks he got 14 goals from 12 XG, and then now since then he's got 6 goals from 6 XG, and people are like, oh, the Haaland drop off, but really, like, if it's from the expected goals, he seems to be like matching his expected goals consistently throughout the season. It seems like the chances created for him or what's dropped off. So, well, Liverpool are quite.
I wonder what that is.
Team.
It's like Phil Foden's died in the arse, and all of a sudden, Man City's attackers just completely floundered.
I mean, I don't know. I don't watch Man City. They're very boring. You know, they're
a bit like Arsenal. Very boring to watch.
No, 4 weeks, 4 games he's been out. Now, if he didn't start tonight, I can't remember. I don't think he started tonight. 4 or 5 games he's.
No, Foden's starting tonight.
Oh, is he starting? Oh, yep. I guess it's not good for the Premier League, though, is it?
No, probably not.
No, I mean, I think Darius's team looks good. Like, I'd maybe start Mookie Haley over Haaland, to be honest. Get the extra DEFCON points on the board. It's a points accumulation after all. You can't have an entire squad, entire 11 of people to haul. You need them 4 pointers to tick over. So that would be one thing I'd consider. But yeah, I mean, it looks fine, doesn't it? Maybe another hit. Maybe a hit to get Harry Maguire in. I've heard somebody was ranting and raving about how Harry Maguire is the difference maker in defence this week. And
so I was looking at that. So for me, originally at the beginning of the week, before I had got a bit bamboozled by João Pedro in that 45 minutes against West Ham, I was thinking it was either going to be Wirtz for Cunha or it was going to be Mukiele for Harry Maguire. And then I've ended up doing a completely different range of moves based on the fact that I watched that Chelsea game and how good João Pedro was. I thought I need, of all the Chelsea attackers, midfield forwards, he's the one I want. Like, he's by far and away the most explosive one.
Oh, you're captain him. I didn't read that out, didn't I?
Yeah, I was like, that's the key, Gary. If you're going to bring in someone on a hit, make it a captaincy option because it's got the chance then to really repay you in huge measures. And it could go pear-shaped. I know Nightmare's shaking his head and he's about to say, or it could go horrible and you can get 2 points or 1 point doubled. But if I get 13 points doubled, Nightmare, I'll be laughing all the way to the bank, baby.
Shall we move on, lads?
I think if you're Captain João Pedro, I think by 2:30 on Saturday, you're going to be a bit devastated because Bruno Fernandes is poised. But
Trig, would you?
I can't believe you're not backing your boy Bowen.
Well, he might end up the Captain Nightmare. There's a good chance he might end up.
Let's ask the Chelsea fan.
Surely you take the advice of the best person on this panel, Gary Pubcast, and start the man against Burnley for the most.
He doesn't have either of them. Doesn't believe in Jared Bolton. Review doesn't like him, Nightmare.
Yeah, but his tactic of backing against Burnley is taking him well clear in the differential game. And maybe we need to learn from him, Darius. Maybe we need to eat a bit of humble pie, wipe that Caliguli dust from our eyes, and realise the greatest of all time is at the top of this ticker on the left-hand side. Gary from the Pubcast, Gary Beer himself, with his tactics.
Gary in the captaincy
being
game.
too nice now. Trig is the greatest of all time below me. And I'm going to ask Trig, what do you think of? I'm going to ask Trig what he thinks of João Pedro, captain. He's the ultimate manager on this podcast.
Terrible pick. I wouldn't do it, but it could be.
That means it's a good pick.
I mean, no, I don't think it's the best pick. I mean, Bruno's got to be the best pick, surely. 90 minutes, points all over the place, playing at home. I mean, you were the one saying that how good Wolves' defence was earlier, Darius, and now you're captaining João Pedro.
Yeah, I'm buttering them up so they can get a little bit ahead of themselves, Trig, and then João Pedro is going to slice through them with like a knife through butter.
Yeah, lads, but he might not play. He might not play.
Then Jared Bones, captain, baby, we get thirds off the bench. I'm here for it.
We've only got 10 minutes before the Newcastle match. Bruno is currently leading. In case I forget to read the poll results out at the end, which I have done the last 2 weeks. Currently, it's Bruno 60. Actually, let's just end it. That'll be the easy thing. Currently, Bruno 61%, Gabriel 16, Haaland only 7, and someone else, which could be João Pedro, 16%. Does that surprise you, Trig?
What surprises me? Sorry.
No, right. So the captaincy poll, Bruno 61.
Oh, no, it doesn't. Doesn't surprise me.
No,
I knew Bruno would be way out in front.
Doesn't seem like... And Haaland at just 7. That does surprise me a bit. Anyway, so let's go on to Nightmare's team. So Nightmare Andrew's got 2 free transfers, 1.1 million in the bank. He's going with Henderson away to Brighton. Timber and Gabriel at home to Sunderland. Tarkowski away to Fulham. Hall at home to Brentford, and he's currently starting Bruno G at home to Brentford as well. Garner away to Fulham. Fernandes captain at home to Spurs. Rice at home to
Gary frozen?
Sunderland. Am I frozen? No, I don't know. It's probably your internet, Darius. Haaland away to Liverpool and Ekitike at home to Man City with Thiago and Mukalele, Longstaff on the bench. Talk through it, mate.
Well, I mean, I think for most of it, it picks itself. You've got Timber, Gabriel, Rice, easy picks. I mean, the only real contention for me is up front because I'm not convinced about benching Thiago against Newcastle, but I'm not convinced about benching Haaland. And like I say, Ekitike. But what I'm proudest of is when you look at that FT on the left there, and you've got the number 2 next to it. 2 free transfers. 2 game weeks ago, I had a 12.6 million game week rank, and the new Nightmare rolled his transfer and backed his team. He backed the long-term plan, and it paid off. I did well last week, and now my plan this week was to roll again. But like I say, the question is Bruno Guimaraes. I can't
get
in the
squad, is he? He's not in the squad.
He's
today.
not in the squad tonight, I don't believe. No, he's not.
So,
I'm not sure if I can actually get to Wirtz from him or on Boomo. I can get to Semenyo. I could get to Enzo Fernandez. They would be the 4 I could replace him with. But I'm more tempted to just let it go like this and have Thiago come in for Guimaraes if he isn't there. I mean, I'm happy enough with this. I think Haaland and Ekitike could both do well. I am considering the Ekitike captaincy quite strongly, and it's because I feel Ekitike, he looked sharp against Newcastle, really sharp. He's fresh. He's got the week off. A Man City play in about 10 minutes' time. And like I say, Ekitike's strengths play into Man City's weaknesses. And it's the last game of the game week as well, which is always nice to have a captain in. I don't know. In some sense, I don't think there's any standout captain this week. And then in other senses, I think there's quite a few good options. So it's it's a difficult one, really. I'm not too worried about the Everton players because they get most of their DEFCONs away from home. So, yeah, I mean, I could use the 2 transfers and change my keeper, but what's the point? So, I don't know. Trig, what would you do in this position?
Probably nothing. But I wouldn't captain Ekatike, but then again, it might not be a bad shout. Gabriel's an interesting captain for you if you want a differential.
Yeah, he's my vice captain, and a captain against Sunderland is always nice for me. But at the same time, it is also exposing myself for, you know, them lot to really ruin my FPL by getting a goal, and I don't know if I want to expose myself to that level of risk. There's risk I will engage in this game, and I'm not sure if captaining a defender against Sunderland is one of them.
I'd just leave it like it is, and if you get Thiago off your bench, so be it. You know. So
yeah, this is it with me. Like the longer the season goes on, the more I'm thinking if I'm benching good players, I don't need to make transfers, and maybe that's what's costing me against Darius, because Darius is thinking if I'm benching good players, I'll take hits and get even better players to bench more players, and you know it's working out for him the last few weeks. I mean, the big absence is Chelsea from my. I know Chelsea players have got a good few games, but I mean that was a tactical choice to go against them. And I mean, really, if Enzo Fernandez hadn't got that late goal, I would have been happy enough. I'm not getting Joao Pedro in.
What about Bruno to Fernandez?
Enzo. Yeah, I mean that's a possibility. I watched the highlights of last night this morning, and I thought Enzo was quite. I didn't realize he was on corners, so he was on corners and penalty share, and he shoots from pretty much everywhere. Really, he's like an Argentinian Jonjo Shelvey in a way, isn't he?
Yeah, he's always coming into the box. You see him often. He'll be further forward than the lap when attacks are happening.
Yeah, I mean
he's on some free kicks as well. Like if a free kick's in a position he likes, he's taking them over Palmer now. I mean, I'm kind of thinking I might just get Enzo now.
I mean, Guimaraes to Enzo now and then to Shadi or Dango Ouattara in game week 28 is a beautiful run. So, I mean, it's a possibility. But I don't know. I'll see what Eddie Howe says, because if he's there, you know, Mukiele, the Bruno Guimaraes and Mukiele home rotation is up to 159 points this season, second only to Erling Haaland. And I mean, it sounds daft, but it just seems to keep on working. It keeps on ticking over. You know, Mukiele doing the business. Bruno Guimaraes, 120 points in himself. I'm in no rush to get rid of him. And like Eddie Howe, I'm going to give him every chance to prove his fitness.
Okay. We've got 5 minutes left, so we will start wrapping up. So before I say goodbye to lads, a quick announcement. So obviously, if you're not aware, the game week 26 deadline, not this game week, is 6 p.m. next Tuesday, and I'm very frustrated because this is not relevant to anyone. I'm going to be teaching from 4 till 6, so I'm not going to be able to react to the last minute news. But the
react to the last review update at 5 p.m.
Last review update, that's it. So the next podcast is going to be at Monday at 7.
You'll have to tell your students you need to go and powder your nose.
I probably will. I'll just be like, here's a discussion point. Talk about this amongst yourselves for 10 minutes, and I'll be in the toilet playing with my phone and FPL. Not what you're thinking, Andrew. So the next podcast will be on Monday at 7, and Trig obviously works on Monday, and so it's going to be completely different guests. Currently, in theory, it's going to be Kanji, FPL Pickle, and I think the first time she'd have been on something like this, and Andy Martin, although Andy Martin has not replied to any of my messages this week. So it'll be quite a different lineup, and there will be no podcast next Wednesday because there's no the following game week isn't until the week after. So please do join us Monday, or me at Monday at 7, and then join us also for the FPL lock-in on Saturday, where we'll be at the usual time of 7:40. And do like and subscribe, lads. As I always do, not that anyone needs to know, they all know if they follow this channel, they know where you are. But tell us where you're at, Trig.
Trig Talks FPL. Good rant last night. Unfortunately, the sound quality was no good, but I kept it up anyway because it was quite good content. And I'll be doing another video later today to see whether my transfers are changing or whatever. And because they change, my thoughts change every day, so we'll see what they are today. After watching this, listening to these guys, I might have changed my mind on a couple of things.
Great. I have to say, I've enjoyed this podcast. We've been asking to get, Trig, obviously, I was worried Trig was going to quit the show, and we've got Trig on, and people have been asking to get Andrew and Darius on for months. So I've enjoyed this one. Possibly one of my favourite ones, possibly my favourite podcast. But Andrew, where can we find you, my friend?
You can find me at FPL Nightmare on YouTube and on Twitter and on Blue Sky and now on Spotify as well. If you are an audiophile, I have started a Spotify channel because it's literally 5 minutes worth of extra effort. And if I'd have realised that, I would have been doing it all the time. But so, and you can normally find me in the comments of most of these guys as well. I like commenting on people, although Darius puts out so many videos that by the time I've watched them, I lose track on which one it is, and I just end up responding to him in the group chat. But what I would say is you want to be definitely watching Trig's videos because of the chess. Even if you think his FPL opinion isn't worth listening to, which is would be a stupid thing to think, go to his videos and skip to the last few minutes and watch the chess because it's different league. It's different. He checkmates people within 60 seconds for fun.
His brain works that fast.
You can see why he is such a master strategist because he sees the pieces. Like he's got 3 moves lined up before his opponents even played them. It's unbelievable. It's very impressive. So go and watch Trig just for the chess, if nothing else. And the RC rants are fun as well.
Is it like that? It's a completely question because I remember studying expertise as a psychologist, and they studied it on chess. I'm not saying you're a chess master like that, but that how many moves you plan ahead when you're doing a chess?
Only 3 or 4, but I can do more. But it's more the difference between a good and a bad player isn't how far they can think ahead. It's what they're actually looking at. Because you could, someone might better think 10 moves ahead, but if they're just looking at rubbish, a bit like when D-Unit's looking at his FPL team, then it doesn't matter how many weeks you look ahead if you're just looking at rubbish players, does it? So you can kind of narrow it down so instinctively know which are the best 1 or 2 options straight away.
Did you know that Trig this week, this is the first time I've mentioned Trig saying I've done enough of plodding along for too long. You want to know why he's stressed folks about taking a few punts this week? It's because the D unit is starting to breathe down his neck and he can see the loose unit with the -4s every week somehow gaining him, rolling the transfer, and he's wondering what the hell's going on here.
You're not wrong.
And Dad, we find you my 10,000 K as if they need to know. Where can we find you, mate?
Yeah, just on FPLD. It's an interesting week. I was looking at what's going on. So it's a Friday night deadline. So the late mail is going to be a little bit earlier this week. It's going to roll straight into a deadline stream, followed into live watch alongs on Saturday. There's so many games on Saturday. There's 5 games at 3 p.m. on Saturday. So it's pretty much all over after Saturday. I think there's only 2 games on Sunday this week. So that's quite nice.
Yeah. What's going on in the middle? Is it Champions League next week or?
No, midweek. Premier League, Gary. It's game week 26 next week.
Of course, it's about a minute ago, yeah. But the week after, anyway, it doesn't matter. My brain gets so confused looking at maps. Anyway,
So
cheers
I'll break
everyone.
it down for you, Gary. So it's game week 26 midweek next week. Then it's FA Cup. So Man United will get a nice little week and a half off so we can recharge for the title push. So it's FA Cup next weekend. Then it's the Champions League playoffs. So Newcastle are the only team affected. I think Nottingham Forest, they're the only teams playing that midweek. And then it's game week 27 at that weekend.
Here's one for your ego to finish off, Darius. FPL have a point in saying my wife loves D Unit more than me.
We all love D Unit more than Have a Pint's wife.
Cheers, everyone. Please do like and subscribe, and please join us on Monday for the next podcast and 7, and the lock-in at 7:40 on Saturday. See you, everyone.